We got baby chicks.
We picked up some chicks in Utah, and we are so excited because this is working on one of our goals that we had for this year of raising our own meat chickens. We want to raise our own meat if we can. We used to purchase our chicken from the Zacon Food, and now that they have gone out of business, we wanted to have healthier meat and still, not spend a crazy amount of money on that healthy meat. And also just kind of reconnecting, knowing where our food's coming from, and kind of being a little more self-sufficient. That's kind of something that's really important to us. So here's a video of an update with our chicks. I'm thinking every week we'll do a short, just quick little update of where our chicks are at. If you have questions about raising chicks, feel free to ask. This is our first time raising this many meat chickens at a time, but we've raised chicks for several years now. So we may be able to help answer some questions. If it's something you're nervous about doing, feel free to watch along with us. Hopefully you can learn something and join us for this adventure. We picked up these Cornish cross broilers from the store while we were on our way back from our trip. They are about 2 to 3 weeks old already, so they have a little bit of a head start. We didn't mind buying bigger birds. It just means less time that we're having to feed them. You'll see a couple little birds. They are some bantams that my sons got for fair that we're just gonna grow out with these guys. We ended up getting 12 broilers, and we're kind of excited for this experiment. We'll see how it goes. Their water, it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but it's an orange color. We bought some electrolytes for chickens. So we picked up some electrolytes for the chicks because we picked them up on our way home, which meant we had a several hour drive. They were gonna already be a little bit dehydrated because we didn't have water in the car, in the box for them. So we just want to make sure they had a good kind of head start. Also, the feed that we got, we do a non-medicated feed, but this feed has probiotics in it, and so it'll have some good beneficial stuff for them to kind of give them that boost. We've had that water over there for several years now. We've used it for several groups of chicks. It works okay, it just, they get it really dirty. I picked up this, which has one of the water nipples on it, but I found that it was too hard for the chicks to push the nipple in. So maybe when they get bigger, they'll be able to use this. And then we picked up this new feeder today. We haven't had any that are gravity fed, and I think it'll be nicer so that we're not constantly having to refill their food throughout the day. The first project we're going to do is working on making an outside brooder, because right now our meat chicks that we picked up in Utah are in our house, and there are a lot of them. They're outgrowing their tub and they smell. We have a problem because they're in the brood box. So they're in that tote in our house, and we've got 12 of them. Sorry, these guys are kind of noisy. So we've got 12 of them in our tote in our house that we normally use for our brood to grow out our chicks. But with having 12 and them being big, and then we had those 4 little bantams, they ended up crushing one of the bantams. So we had to move the 3 remaining ones out into a separate tub, and I'll show you a little picture of that. And so now that those 3 are separate, we really need to get those bigger chickens out of the house because they're just taking up a lot of room. They smell horrible, and so we're working on seeing if we can change. We have this other kind of grow out pen, and this is where we're going to keep the meat chickens until they're big enough to be with our other chickens, because chickens kind of fight. And we have this smaller coop that we used last year for our chicks but there's some things that don't quite work about it. Obviously, we have not cleaned it out. So I need to kind of take this apart and see if I can make it work for what we need, and if we can get those meat chickens out here a little bit sooner than we originally planned. So I've got that whole panel taken off, and kind of what my plan is, it's kind of a tight spot in here for me to show you all this, but I want to cut the piece that was up here. I want to cut it in half and have up here solid, cut the panel in half and have up here a solid piece, and then have this whole bottom half be on hinges so that I can lower it all the way down, making it easy to clean. Before we had just kind of that small little door, which made it a pain. So you can see we've got a couple roost bars. That little triangle up here in the corner is where we thread the cord for the heat lamp, which we'll have to put out here if we move the chicks out here, because it's just not going to be warm enough yet. And then now I can work on cleaning out the bottom of this. For some reason, all my shovels and all my good rakes are not in my chicken coop, which is where I normally keep them, but I found a leaf rake, so we're going to see if this will work. So you might be wondering what this chicken wire is on top of this light. It's to try to prevent the birds from jumping up and being able to touch the light, because they can get burned. We wire it up at the top, and then I'll pull the cord through the rest of the way so the cord's tight and not where they can reach it. So all we have left is cut the wood, put this back together. Then I need to find my spare feed and water bottles so that we have some for the chickens inside and some for the chicks outside. Here's what we finished today with getting the brooder altered and refinished. We're not going to move the meat chicks out for probably about another week. We looked into the forecast and we're supposed to get down into the 40s and 20s at night, or 40s during the day and 20s at night, part of next week, and get some more snow. So I'd prefer to wait a little bit before doing that. As you can see, there's kind of a crack here. I think I need to put a second hinge on, which I will do before we move them. But I kind of want to show how we did the door. This was the original door that we had. And then I'm hoping to find another hook like that one, but I didn't have any, so I just have this bolt connecting them. But this allows me to open this completely out so I can clean out the whole thing. So again, I'll probably add another hinge to close that up, and then eventually a better hook, but that's just what I had for now. So we'll hopefully get the chicks out here next week. I'll give you a little video at the end of what they're looking like now, and the next week you can see how big they've gotten. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed our video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, subscribe to our channel so that you can see all the new updates, all the new videos, and see how our little fluffy babies are doing.